Hey leather folks, Alicia here. So I have made a couple videos on great exercises to use to train for skiing or hiking or trail running, and a lot of those exercises encourage people to get more than 90 degrees of knee flexion through the exercise. And I had some comments, some responses from people going, whoa, don't do that, you're going to ruin your knees. And I didn't realize that this was still a common myth that people thought. So here is my official response. I'm going to talk about the origin of the myth that deep knee flexion causes knee pain and knee injury. And at the same time, I'm going to do 1,000 reps of deep squatting like movements, and we're going to see how my knees hold up by the end of the day. All right, let's start. We're going to warm up with air squats. Every single one of these is going to count. So let's talk about where this myth came from, that squatting deep is bad for you. In the 1950s, this Dr. Klein did a study on collegiate athletes, and he looked at joint laxity in athletes that squatted below parallel in their training compared to those who didn't. And what he found was there was more joint laxity in those that squatted deeper. But there were some flaws in the way he set up this study. Now, subsequent research has found there's no correlation between squatting deep and injury risk. And there's even evidence that those who perform deep squats have more stability in their knee joint than those who don't. But beyond that, the mechanism behind his findings has also been disproven. So he was worried about ligaments getting lax, right? Well, the ACL is under more tension during the first 4 inches of a squat than it is during really deep squats. The same thing is true when it comes to the LCL. It's under its most tension in the first third of the squat. So the top third of your squat, you see the most tension in your ACL. All right, 100 done. Time to get set up for back squats and front squats. If the whole thing is as easy as the first 100 warm-up squats, I would be so stoked. Set 1 done. All right, starting to get a sweat on. First reason to go deep in your squats, because sitting on the toilet demands more than 90 degrees of flexion at the knee for some people. Just kidding, that's not my actual first reason. My first reason is that working towards deep flexion encourages us to 1, be aware of, and 2, strengthen and work towards full range of motion in the joints above and below the knee, most importantly the hips and ankles. I think I'm experiencing fear fatigue, where this is still like the number of squats that might happen in a session, and yet I'm feeling more tired than I think if it was just 1 session, because I know how many squats are ahead of me. So I'm gonna have to lean into this a little bit, get over the fear fatigue. Now, working towards full range of motion doesn't mean you're gonna force yourself into deep knee flexion or force deep knee flexion on someone who isn't ready for it. And I'm going to talk more about that about 500 reps from now. But it does mean actively working towards great ankle and hip strength and range of motion, which is going to translate into more movement options when you're in a sport environment. I think that's the first time a 65-pound front squat has felt hard, but that's the last set for today. We're moving on to overhead squats combined with high step-ups. We're playing with that delicate balance between doing these too quickly and getting them done before I start to feel like I'm gonna die. So let's do another set, and let's talk about my second reasoning for being okay with depth, and that is because more co-activation between the back of your body and front of your body happens when we go deeper through a squatting motion. And that could be a squat, traditional squat, or something like a step up. The lower I am, now I'm using hamstrings and glutes as well as quads. Top half of the movement, way more quad dominant. feeling, to be honest, better than I expected at the 500 rep point. I was only gonna do 500 reps until a friend told me not. Did I need to do the full 1,000? And I'm glad she did, because I'm not feeling too bad right now, and I know you guys wanna see some pain.
2 hours later.
Had some lunch, had a protein shake, answered some phone calls, answered some emails, and I am going to start part 2. So this is our second 500 squats. Starting off for warm up, I'm gonna do my Cossack squats. 10 sets of 10. So we might as well get started and get into it. Reason number 3 for going to below 90 degrees. As Charles Poliquin said, strength is gained through the range that it is trained. And it's shown that your muscle is strongest through the middle half of its range of motion. So if we can work those extremes, tops and bottoms, we're gonna get more strength building potential in those muscles. All right. That felt not so bad. Let's go into hyperspeed for our next 9 sets. Okay, things have started getting hard. I don't feel warm even though I just did 100 Cossack squats. I don't know how pistols are gonna go. Let's see what happens. Okay, come on, man. You can do it. I am feeling entire lower body fatigue. My calves feel fine. Otherwise, fatigue. Last one, then we rest. 10. Okay. Whew. Okay. 1, 2, 3. This is definitely the hardest one so far. Okay, so new strategy, slight heel block up for my pistols. And not holding onto the front toe. Still getting that full depth on the way down. Still making sure that knee is tracking over the toes, but in a hinge motion, not diving in. And I still got my counterweight. But my legs are shaking. I actually thought I'd done more sets than I'd written down, so I just went back and checked the footage, and nope. This is set number 6 of these guys. And that means left-hand side for these. Okay. When things get tough, I like to think about a fun memory outside. So for me right now, I'm thinking about the memory of climbing up above Blue Lake towards Loaf in the backcountry here. 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 more. Last one. Helps give me a why for what I'm doing. Final set, folks. But while I'm doing these pistol squats, let's talk about when we should not go deep. There's a few situations in particular. The first is if you are injured or recovering from an injury of the knee, hip, or ankle, or even low spine. In this case, listen to your healthcare practitioner who is there to help you recover. Second, if squatting deep causes knee pain during or after, you need to listen to your body and work on the aspects of your mobility that will allow you to squat deeper in the future if that works for you. Third, if your technique is being infringed upon by your hip or ankle strength and mobility to the point where squatting deep feels impossible, you can work on these aspects of your fitness separately and then gradually increase the depth of your squat as your body allows it. I did 12 on my last set instead of 10. Not happy about that. All right, rear foot elevated split squats for the win. Bringing it home, then I only have 200 left. Fourth, if you've never squatted deep before, you need to start slow and increase gradually. This is a concept called progressive overload. 200 reps remaining. Okay, let's do this. And it means challenging your body enough to make a change, but not so much that it can't adapt to the challenge. And finally, your anatomy can sometimes make deep squats harder. Particularly, those of us that have long femurs and short torsos can have trouble. But don't be afraid to play around with foot positioning and depth to find a range of motion that works great for you. Okay. Yeah. So there you have it. My knees still exist. Don't be afraid of knee flexion, but if it's something you haven't experienced before, build up to it slowly and make sure you put in the mobility work in your ankles and all the muscles surrounding your knees and in your hip joints to make that movement healthy and possible for you. And thank you for watching this. I am going to take a little break now, I think. Oh, that feels nice. Oh. To be honest, I was really nervous about this 1,000 flexion video. But sometimes I guess we're stronger than we think we are, although I do believe I'm going to feel it tomorrow. All right, and keep coming back here if you're interested in fitness that actually helps you when you're running and skiing and hiking and all those other fun things. I'm also training for a 1,000-mile canoe race this summer, so look forward to some content in that department coming up soon. All right, have a wilder week. We'll talk to you guys soon.